Maddie, what are you doing? Is it bath time? Is it bath time for your feet? Is it bath time for your feet? Goodness me. Nice and warm there. The warm's on, look. Oh, belly rubs for Maddie. Good girl. Okay. That's working. Oops. I want to do that. There we go. Down there. Chat over there. You can use your mics, you know, it's just if you've got sound on in the background, you need to make sure you don't leave it on, or if you get feedback, you need to make sure you turn it off. You don't have to say hello to in chat. You can talk to me here. It's perfectly okay. Right, there's that then.
I just want to make sure that I don't give any feedback.
That's the only thing, when somebody says something and I had my thing pinned, so I don't know who said what. Hang on. There we go. Oh.
Now, I was saying that I don't want to give any feedback.
Oh, no. If you are using Zoom app and only Zoom app, it mutes the sound automatically. It's only if you're watching on YouTube.
Oh, okay, that way.
Gives feedback. Hey, Pam. Pam's over on YouTube. Yeah. Pam, have you been having trouble with getting into Zoom? Because you keep coming into Zoom and then not staying. Are you having trouble with it? Seriously, it's freezing. We had snow last night. Right. I think most, oh, it was your internet. Okay. I don't know if it applies to you, Pam, but in the When Frogs Sing class now, we've got a foreign language forum. I wasn't sure because your English is very good, but sometimes you misunderstand what I say. So I was wondering if English was a second language for you. If so, we've got a foreign language forum now where you can go and see if there's anybody else who speaks your first language. So if you want to clarify anything or discuss notes or anything like that, you can go and do that. The Dutch girls are using it at the moment because it's easier for them to look up stuff in Dutch and then look at the details in English. So just so you know, I wasn't sure. It is Spanish. I thought it was. I had this vague idea that it was like Spanish, Portuguese, Brazilian type, somewhere around there. Yeah, I'm not good with geography. I had a feeling it was something like Spanish. Okay. I don't know if we've got any other Spanish speakers in the group, but, you know, if we do, I'm sure there'll be somebody who'd be more than happy to help you. But what I said to the girls the other day, look up stuff in your own language so that you can get a broad outline and understand it fully, just the basics, and then you can pick out bits to go and look at in English afterwards. Because your English is fine, there's nothing wrong with your English. It's just that sometimes, especially with words that you're not familiar with, like we're doing in astrology, some of the words you would never have come across. So if you do struggle at any point, look it up in Spanish first and then go and look at English afterwards. The Dutch girls are doing a bit of both and then finding out their own bits afterwards. So you're usually okay, brilliant. Your English is very good. I'm not saying your English is bad in any way. It's just sometimes that with terminology, it can be a little tricky to understand, I suppose, the nuances of what it means, rather than, you know, sometimes we use words that aren't actually words sometimes, and we use words for different things. Hey, Ashley. So, guys, it finally happened. I'm so happy. It's been a good day. My book from Anna arrived. If you didn't see me on YouTube earlier, go and check it out later. I did a full flip. My gorgeous, gorgeous new book. Look at the size of it. It's wrapped in its bag at the moment. It's massive. It's awesome. I did a full flip. Go and check it out. I will not publicly be showing that one on YouTube, and I don't think I'll be using it as examples or anything. I won't be doing art. It's a project for me. But you guys will definitely get to see a flip through of it, or get to see pages that I've done in it. I just, I'm not using it as a teaching thing. The other thing that happened this week, your grocery shopping. Yeah. Well, normally I do it on a Friday, but it didn't arrive until this morning. So I thought I'd better wait, because I knew I wanted to do it and I wasn't going to wait until next Wednesday. The other thing that happened, I got it. It's so shiny. This is, come on, let me do that, and that, and that, and that. Hang on. There we go. So this is what it is. It's an iPad. I got the new 9.7 6th gen. So it's not an iPad Pro. It's a regular iPad, but it's the student grade version, basically. It's a heck of a lot cheaper than any others, but it works with the Apple Pencil, which is what I want. And it's still, even though it's nowhere near as powerful as even the first gen iPad Pros, it is infinitely better than the one I've got, which is 8 years old nearly. So I can't wait to play. I don't have the pencil yet, though. That was a 90 quid stretch that I couldn't quite do this time. But I'm hoping to get some more Christmas money off my mum and dad, birthday money, because they said they'd give me money for Christmas and money for my birthday to put towards that. So I'm hoping they'll give me a bit of money towards it for my birthday, and then I'll be able to afford the pencil, because I'm only about halfway there, and it's about, you can get them for about £80, but then you have to pay postage, so they're about 90. I can get it for 90 off Amazon, which I think is pretty good. I can do Amazon Prime then. But on top of that, I've got to get the 2 apps that I need. So have a look. That's really hot. Sorry, I burnt my tongue. I need Procreate, and I want to get GoodNotes 5. The aftermarket brushes. Yeah, I was looking at some of those, and there is another one that's almost identical to the Apple Pencil that's £30, but I can't afford that either at the moment, so I've still got to wait. So I'll have a look when once I've got the money. I'll have a look and see. It's only 10 days to my birthday, so it's not like I have to wait a long time. I'll wait and see. Oh God, that really hurt. If I get money from my mum and dad, and how much. Because my mum and dad's version of, oh, we'll give you money for your birthday, can be anything between £300 and £20. They really don't have any concept. You know, I have to actually tell them how much sometimes in order to be able to get what I want. But I showed them what I wanted and what I was going to buy, and they basically gave me half the money for it, which was really great of them. But, you know, 20 quid would go a long way towards the pencil anyway. So I haven't tried other pencils. I haven't looked at other pencils. I have looked at other pencils, but I'm not sure what's going to work. There's one that's there's one that's available that's only £30 and it looks identical to an Apple Pencil, but it's got a metal tip. And a lot of people who said they've used metal tipped stylus on these cheaper iPads have said that it scratches the screen. So I don't know. I don't know. Here's something else what I've got. I was digging through my old books and stuff, looking for books that I could pull apart or alter or, you know, pull pages out of or whatever. This book is still in copyright. However, as you can see, it is a book of Queen Victoria's sketches, and it has facsimile reproductions of her sketches, which means the sketches themselves. Oh, that cute little dog. If you want to use book pages, like these book pages, you would have to use the actual book page. But if you want to just scan that image for yourself, for personal use, you can do that because it's out of copyright. So the images themselves are okay, but not reproduced in the book, if that makes sense. He's so adorable. Oh, I'm going to mark that page. He's cute. I need to get him. But you know, you can't. I have an Apple Pencil. I just wanted to mention I use it daily and I drop it daily and it holds up well. Excellent. Thank you for that. You know me well, Sue. Love my Apple Pencil, but I have everything Apple. I just like how it syncs together and works. That's the thing. I've got an iMac, I've got my MacBook, I've got the iPad now, I've got the iPhone. I might as well get the Apple Pencil. But what I might do, because the Apple Pencils, I've heard they can be a little bit funny about charging, and they don't always hold their charge as long as you'd like, especially if you're using Procreate. What I might do is get the Apple Pencil and then later on get one of the cheap ones, or like the aftermarket brushes that Ashley's talking about. Just pick up one of those cheaper so that I've got a replacement or a stand-in or an extra. Yeah, exactly. Although, to be honest, if I was going out urban sketching, I would take my Samsung, because my Samsung is bulletproof. I've dropped it so many times and it still works. It's just very, very slow. But to do basic sketching with and then bring it back and put it on the iPad and do more fine detail, that's going to be fine. Look at these. She was quite a good artist, wasn't she? I suppose she probably didn't have much else to do other than draw, write and read and sew stuff for quite a few years. She wasn't allowed to do anything, was she? But she was a pretty good artist. And she went from doing like really fine work, what's that, 1836, and then this is 1834, but look, it's only 2 years earlier, but just really sketchy, like urban sketching before it was cool kind of stuff. Oh, my tongue really hurts. Portraits of her sister. It's just a really nice little book. And it's funny how she goes from being very anatomically correct to then doing the stylized portraiture of the time. But it's almost all observational. Scooby, behave. She was quite a good little artist. Look at this. From the apartments in Buckingham Palace looking towards Westminster in 1838. Isn't it cool? I mean, I might pull this one apart because I actually really like the cover. The cover's quite nice. The dust jacket is broken anyway. But a lot of these kind of books, once you find out that they're really nice inside, if you decide you want to use them, you can usually pick up another one. They've got some on Warder Books that are £2.50. So, you know, I could get another one and pull that one apart and keep this one. So I'm quite happy to do that. So that's, I thought you would like to have a look at that. Show you this anyway. I'm not going to do a flip. The flip's on YouTube, but sorry, I've got bits everywhere. I need to tidy my desk up. Got stuff all over the place. This is my book from Anna. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? Proper hardbound. It's not a junk journal, it's a proper hardbound book. Lay flat binding and everything. And it's gorgeous. Look at this. She's got franking pages in here. It's got coffee stain. She's got some plain coffee stain. Like, this is the kind of stuff we're going to be doing. This basic wash coffee stain. I don't know how to do this. This is the multi-processed stuff. I have to practice that myself, so I don't actually know, but I can teach you how to do this. This is not too difficult. And then we can put in some extra pages and things. There's pockets and stuff. And, you know, this is, oh, there's velvet there. I love velvet. Isn't it beautiful? Like I say, full flip over on my channel. And she's left it, she's deliberately left a lot of blank space so that I can put my own stuff in, but she's included all sorts of interesting stuff in it for me. So isn't it gorgeous? Can't wait to play with that. That's going to be my project for me. It's going to be awesome. And I already spilled wax on it from my candle. I spilled wax on it and then I thought, you know what? Who cares? I'm just going to tip some wax on it. So there's wax on one of the pages now, which is really cool. So, yeah, that's a nice little project for me to play with. Just something different to do. I've got a lot of oddments, like my mum and dad's wedding pictures and stuff like that, that I don't want to put in just a regular journal because I won't know where they are. And I've got photos of my grandparents and things, and I wanted to just have somewhere to put it all. Plus I can put like personal astrology and tarot and stuff in here and things like that if I want to, because it's got the right theme. I don't know how she did this. I'm just going to roll it and hope for the best. I don't know how she put all this together the first time, so there we go, that will do. I'll figure it out. I'll get her to show me how to do it. I'm good with wrapping paper because wrapping paper stays where it's put. Material is a bit more tricky. Oh, the pin's not very pointy. Doesn't want to go through. Come on. Come on, what's wrong with you, silly thing? Well, it worked earlier. Suddenly it doesn't want to go through the material. There we go. There must be something on the back of that bit. So that's that. I thought today we could do a bit of painty stuff. And if you have questions about your astrology thing, you could ask questions about it. and I can clarify anything that you're not entirely sure about. The most common bits that I've come across so far have been reading it the wrong way round. So this is your chart. The signs are around the outside, and then the bit in the middle here is the houses, not these bits. This is the ascendant, this thick line here, and the descendant on the opposite side. But a lot of people are reading these bits as the houses. These are the signs. The houses are in this section here. So your first house could end all the way over here and cover 3 signs. And also be very careful if you're like Rachel's actually got 1 degree of her ascendant in the previous sign, but she couldn't see that, and she was reading it as being Aries because Aries was the first one here, and it's not. That line is in Aquarius, therefore her first house is Aquarius, is ruled by Saturn and Uranus, who rule Aquarius. So just be aware of that. And not reading it from this line, the 9 o'clock line, down and backwards, not going to the first line and reading it back that way, which is what a couple of people have done now, starting here and going, oh, well, that's the first house, there's the first line, so that it's Taurus. This is always the first line. And then then this line becomes the first line of the second house. Oh, a house can span 4 signs. Mine's very close to spanning 4 signs. Remember, because of this, the length here versus the length here. So this is quite short, it's only spanning 2 signs, but this is very long, this is spanning 4 signs. So this is going to take longer. It all depends. If your ascendant is traveling here, it's going to take longer to go through, whereas if it's traveling here, it's going to go faster. So it will whiz round there, so it'll cover more ground, it'll cover more signs. That's the 2 most common things, is reading it the wrong way round and reading it missing where the ascendant starts, or missing the ascendant completely. So just be aware of those. But if you have any other questions, you're welcome to ask. I did realise that I was talking about planets above the ascendant, and I said ignore them. Actually, if you have a planet that's 1 degree or less above the ascendant, that is basically on the ascendant. Rachel's is 2901, which is basically 0.29 seconds, or yeah, 0.29 degrees, 29 seconds away from, is it? No, 29 minutes, there we go. Degrees, minutes, seconds, there we go. 29 away from her ascendant, which is, in astrological terms, it's about 20 minutes. So if she'd been born 20 minutes later, it could have been right in the first house. Kitty! We got a kitty. There's a kitty. Lisa's got a kitty. Lisa's kitty said hello. Hi, kitty. We love the kitties. It's important to have a supervisor. Haven't done anything really in my journal. In fact, I haven't done anything in my journal since I showed it to you the other day, but in case anybody hasn't seen, I've been doing fabric bits and stitchy bits, and I've discovered my sewing machine. I've been having lots of fun adding bits and fabric tabs and vellum pockets and all this sort of stuff. Sewing on pockets and tip-ins. And this is my very first bit of sewing on my sewing machine, which I've had for about 8 years, and I was scared of it. because I didn't want to have to rethread it ever. But actually, it's quite easy to rethread. It's the bobbin I'm scared of now, but I've got plenty of bobbins and they're all full, so I'm all right for now. So yeah, it's a little pocket, that one. Put something in there. I just had this bit of fabric. I did some fabric stuff and then I sewed the fabric onto the journal card. So that's kind of cool. What I'm planning to do, because you all said you wanted to do a bit of junk journaling and this kind of stuff, this is kind of pseudo junk journaling. It's not really, hey, let's make a junk journal. It's just kind of pseudo junk journaling. So I thought what we could do for February is I'll take this one apart because it's only held together with staples, which will be a recap for those of you who've done pamphlet stitch, because this needs a few extra pages. There's not enough pages in this one. It's only got 10 sheets in it, which is 20 pages. That's not enough for a month for me. So I'll take it apart, add some extra pages in, rebind it, and it will turn into a bit like this. And then we can start adding stuff to it as well. And that'll be something you can practice your stitching and things. Carol put a how-to in the forum the other day for some basic stitching, which is a pretty good little guide. I've added a treasure page. It's actually an articles page. If you have, if you come across really good links, really good, you can't get the sea whites in the US. Well, that's weird. They sell them on Amazon. I love my sea whites journals. I'm distracted because I'm reading that and I'm cold and my tongue hurts now. Sorry. What was I saying? Treasure. I've set it up as articles, so any of you can add to it. If you've just found a link or a website or something that's useful, send it to me or Carolyn and we'll add it just to the links section. But if you find like a whole article or you want to share a whole thing, like Andrea was talking about some stuff that she'd been doing for in her stitching and different ideas she had about bookmarks and things, and the kit where you can get the kits and how to make them and how they come out and stuff, and doing Zen doodling. She could write a whole article on that if she wanted to, like a blog post, but less easy to lose. It won't get lost in the forum. I've also added a contacts page. So we were talking about doing random swaps and being able to swap stuff and things like that. I've added that. You can edit your information. So if you move house or your projects, as your projects change and stuff, you can update it. So you can put your address in. Only people in this group who have paid for the class can access that information. And other than that, it's covered by Ning's privacy policy. You do put your information in at your own risk, of course. However, it's a closed group and it's a closed community. So I'm very strict about who's allowed in and who's not. I check up on everybody who signs up to go and find out who they are and what they are and that they are like us, not just spammers or something. So, you know, all your information is as secure as I can make it. However, if you still would rather not give out your information, I understand that, you know, there's some people who live on military bases and things like that and would rather not give out their information. If that's the case, just put your preferences, your projects, you know, your birthday, all that kind of stuff, and then just put at the top, message me for address. And then that just means that people know that you are willing and able to get involved or do swaps or whatever, but you don't want to share your address publicly. And that's totally fine. I totally get it. Mine's up there because you can find my address just by searching my website, because if you've got a website in the UK, you have to have your address on it. So there's no point hiding mine. I just don't post it publicly where it can be spammed. I think that's it for the group. I already mentioned the foreign language section. If you speak, because I know some of you speak other languages, if you do speak other languages and you're willing to help those who are learning in another language first and foremost, or, you know, like the Dutch girls, obviously their first language is Dutch. And it's easier for them to check the concepts and the basics in Dutch and then translate it to English than try to read it in English and understand it at the same time. We've got Pam is Spanish, we've confirmed. So, you know, if you understand Spanish or Dutch, or you speak another language, you want to say, hey, if anybody speaks this, I can help. You know, if you fancy a challenge, want to try learning things in a new language, go over and check the foreign language forum. It's called the Tower of Babel. And that is specifically for people to discuss things in their own languages to clarify concepts. It's not just a general forum. I'm trying to avoid general forums because you can post under the post. You can post under the video if you've got questions about that particular video. You can post in the album. Oh, that's a new one. I've put the album up and I've put up pictures of my journal. I will add to that as I go, and I will do, because a lot of the feedback I've had was that people liked the monthly album that I did last year, where you could just go in and browse and have a look at what sort of stuff I was doing in my journal. So I've reinstated that. You've got your section, you've got my section that you can click on the images and go and look at it on Google. And if you have your own online album, which will save us space, so if you've got your own Google album or you've got your own iCloud album or something like that, set up a share link and send it to me and I'll put it in the list. So you don't have to upload then to the photo album. We can keep that for people who don't have that facility. She's back on the big screen. Okay, great. Rachel's back on the big screen. She's sorted. My tongue hurts. What's everybody been up to? What have you all been doing? You've all been very quiet. It's not like you all to be this quiet.
Ro, can you tell me about something that happened last night? We had a Sun square Uranus. Is that like practically the worst dang thing that can happen? Because last night at work, everything fell apart exactly when that hit us. It went like crazy.
Was it specific to you, or was it just at work in general, or was it all centered around you or somebody you work with?
No, I noticed it on the transit calendar after everything fell apart at work, and I thought it was like a general curse. It was like a curse. All of a sudden, all of us in dispatch were making mistakes we would never otherwise make. All of the people who were calling in were half nuts. They were calling about stuff that was bizarre, and all of these texts were going off in bizarre directions. One of them drove into a snowbank, and he's never done that in 35 years. I mean, and I thought, okay, it's this stupid sun squaring Uranus at 7:30 our time. That's exactly when it did it. It was just like...
Hey, here's a question for you.
Okay.
In general, what's the most erratic, hard to pin down, contrary sign that there is?
Oh, it's got to be Uranus. I would believe that now.
Well,
with every...
Uranus is a planet.
Oh.
But the craziest, most erratic sign
I'm sorry.
Aquarius. And guess what rules Aquarius? That would be Uranus.
Oh.
So Uranus is the planet of doing things your own way, causing disruption, going off on flights of fancy because, oh, that seemed like a good idea at the time. Cody's playing WoW, not really working. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, if anything is going to be flighty and abrupt, like abruptly undermining the status quo, there's nothing like an Aquarian to do that. So yes, Sun square Uranus would absolutely just be like, what on earth is going on? Hello, Crazy Town.
It was like I mean, we dispatched for a 5-state area, and suddenly it rolled right over 7:30 and everything fell apart. And about an hour later, it was quiet again.
Uranus and Aquarius rules the 11th house of community as well. So anything global, widespread, to do with transportation and moving things from one place to the other via technology, or yeah, dispatch, anything like that. Traffic control, scientific equipment and mechanics, yeah. Technology, the modern world. Yeah, that's Uranus. What was it in? Because that would give you a...
Luna, I can tell you it also rules CT scanners and MRI scanners.
Yes, because it's technology. It's modern technology and electronics.
Well, I mean...
Electronics and mechanics.
Yep. Well, and definitely those.
But it was... it was Sun square Uranus in Pisces. What's Pisces the sign of?
Things hidden and secret?
No, that's Scorpio.
Oh, sorry.
Pisces is the sign of spirituality and higher self, but it's also the sign of service. So if you've got the sun spotlighting all kinds of disruption and hell and chaos just for the sake of it in the planet of service, yeah, that would be it. Plus, at the same time, the sun was transiting into Aquarius tomorrow. Sorry. So yeah.
It was like, yeah, we had to reschedule people all over the place because the CT scanners that had been working fine only hours before were suddenly down. We had people on the road who were either driving into snowbanks, or suddenly their cell phones didn't work and we couldn't reach them, and they were on their way to bizarre places in the middle of nowhere in Minnesota in a snowstorm, and we couldn't reach them by cell to tell them their call had been canceled. And we had people who have lived in the same place for years and knew the rules of their building suddenly calling in demanding that their Venetian blinds be changed in the middle of a Minnesota storm because they thought that the Venetian blinds were letting in too much wind. I had a woman go absolutely bizarre on me. She believed that we were trying to kill her children because we wouldn't come out and change her Venetian blinds.
Yeah, was everyone angry, outbursts, anxious? I think crazy would be would cover
all of the above. All of the above. Thank you, Luna.
Yeah. Don't forget, the day before you had Mercury conjunct Pluto in Capricorn, was it? Yeah, Mercury conjunct Pluto in Capricorn. So all sorts of change and difficulties and hidden craziness from Pluto to do with practical stuff and work in Capricorn, affecting communication, messaging, talking, all that kind of stuff. Mercury. So that wouldn't have helped.
Oh, no, it didn't. Well, I mean, I don't mean to carry on forever, but
no, it's fine. It's fine because it's relevant. It's now. Then you've got the sun in. Oh no, the sun in Capricorn. Sun in Capricorn work squaring Uranus in Pisces. Disruption to service, and then the 20th tomorrow, the sun actually goes into Aquarius. So yeah, a couple of days of woo.
Boy, I mean, we were just in the whole dispatch staff and all of the supervisors, we were all, and the team leads like I am, I mean, we were all just either in tears or just,
Come on, baby. Come and sit in here.
It was just too much. Just too much.
Well, you've got another fun day coming up because on the day of the sun, the super blood moon lunar eclipse wolf moon in Leo, because of course it's in Leo. I've posted about it in the forum. That is, you've got Venus in Sag, so striving for goals, aiming for goals, nurturing your goals and ambitions, and also transport. Because Sagittarius is to do with long haul and large trips and things like that. Squaring that Uranus in Pisces again, so disruption at work, disruption to spiritual stuff as well, not just service. And then at the same time, you've got Mars in rulership in Aries, squaring Saturn in Capricorn, Saturn in rulership in Capricorn. So you've got Mars in Aries, the god of war and strife, squaring Saturn in Capricorn, the god of let's get this done, it's our duty. So I wouldn't expect plain sailing on Monday either, if I were you.
Guess what? I'm off on Monday.
You'll probably get to work and find that all the disruption and craziness that happened on Friday by Monday is all your fault.
I have Monday off. They can come and find me. They can come
I would find out from somebody what's going on, because that could be entertaining.
Oh, thanks, Ro.
We've got a lot happening over the next week, actually, so check in on that. Lots of multiple stuff. And obviously for me, we've got, Maddie, shush! We've got that lunar eclipse for everybody. We've got Sun in Aquarius. We've got Mercury in Aquarius. We've got Sun conjunct Mercury in Aquarius the day after my birthday. We've got Jupiter in rulership in Sag. We've got Mars in rulership in Aries, and we've got Saturn in rulership in Capricorn. Hi. Don't think anything. Oh yeah, Neptune's also in rulership, but he's been in rulership for ages. But we will finish off the months on the 31st with Saturn in Capricorn, Saturn in rulership in Capricorn, the god of work and duty. Sextile, which is a nice one, working well with, or can be worked well with, Neptune exalted, Neptune ruling in Pisces. Neptune, the god of dreams and spirituality and higher self, and so on. So hard work plus realism equals dream come true for the 31st. It's a good one, isn't it?
Well, it's a little bit comforting.
Again, it depends on your own sign. Miss Maddie, do you need to go out, sweet pea? Is that why you're crying? Do you need to go potty? Mother of mercy. She does this every time I sit down. Why can't you go out before? Every time I ask them if they want to go out, and they just sit, look at me. Come on. Come on then. Here we go. Come on. There you go. You happy now? Happy now? Okay. Oh, shush you. Who asked you? Who asked you? Nobody. That's who asked you. Oh, so. Curious to see how Monday affects the government. Well. Okay, so this is the one I've been working on Twitch. I've put the first 3 on the forum if you want to watch them. This is Brigid, apparently, with the light of the summer, bringing the light of the world, the light back to the world, dispelling the darkness and winter and cold, tiny shoots of green and all that kind of stuff. Hi, Ina. I've missed saying that. Someone I follow who does a lot of predictive astrology predicted the government shutdown. She says she doesn't think any will be shifting anytime soon. No, the only thing that's going to shut down this shutdown is if the GOP either vote with the Senate, is it the Senate, the Democrats, and there's an overruling in the House to say, right, bugger this, we're going to get back to work, or the GOP agrees to go ahead and impeach him. I don't understand how he's not impeachable at the moment. How can he shut down the government and hold it to ransom for $5 billion? How? I don't get it. I do not get it. How is that not against the Constitution? I don't understand how that works. But anyway. But I think at the moment it's pride. It's got nothing to do with the wall. It's his pride. He doesn't want to be seen to lose to a woman. And Nancy Pelosi is like, bitch, you ain't seen nothing yet. She's not going to back down. She is not going to back down unless it's for the good of the people. I don't follow online groups with other people giving their opinions. I read news, I read the reports. And I try to stick to a neutral channel. I tend to stick with the BBC reports because they're supposed to be neutral. Their political correspondents are supposed to be neutral. And they usually are for other countries, not so much for us, but besides it's better than thinking about Brexit, because Brexit's just a whole other party of trifle. And all the papers are so surprised. They're like, oh, Theresa May is going to put things to a vote and, oh, she might lose. Well, of course she might lose. Half the people don't want Brexit. Half the people do. Of the ones who do, half the people want a hardline Brexit that doesn't agree with what she wants. Of the ones who don't, half of them don't agree with what she's agreed because on principle, because they're not even her party. And she's stuck in the middle going, yes, but there's Europe as well, people. They won't agree to it. I kind of feel sorry for her. She's got the worst job in the world at the moment. She's on a no-win. There is nothing she can do to win. And I think the only reason she's still in charge is because nobody wants her job. I think that's the only reason she hasn't lost her no confidence yet, because nobody else wants to do it. The only person who has any chance of actually wanting to do that job is Boris, and he won't do it. It's too much like hard work for him. He'd rather sit on the sidelines and in the peanut gallery. What's Trump doing with a full table of Big Macs? Well, the catering was all shut down, so he had he had to order in Big Macs for this huge delegation that never bothered to turn up because he didn't actually invite them. Although I have to say, why did he have 300 Big Macs if he was all alone in the White House? You know, I thought it was just him and the janitor. I don't know. I think it's, if it wasn't affecting people on such a personal level and causing people to literally go into poverty over it, it would be hilariously funny. If it wasn't affecting people, it would be hilarious, but it's not. NATO's falling apart and the UK needs all the friends it can have in the EC. Exactly. It's trying, she's in a no-win situation. She's trying to keep the, we hate Europe, we didn't want to be in it in the first place, grave dodgers happy. She's trying to keep the youngsters who said, but we didn't want to leave, so you better get us a good deal so we can still go and live in Europe, happy. And at the same time, she's trying to keep Europe happy, and they don't want to give us anything. They're like, hey, you want to leave, you leave, pack your bags and go. But we're not giving you anything. You know, it's a divorce. Divorces are never easy. Divorces take on average 2 years. And still nobody's happy. So I don't quite understand why they think she can just whistle up a deal. You know, they can keep saying, no, we're not, we don't like that deal, we don't like that deal, we don't like that deal, all they want. But they're not going to get what they want, because what they want is to leave the EU, but still have all the benefits of being in the EU. And you can't have your cake and eat it. So somebody's going to have to give. Anyway, politics is funny. The ones who are good for the job don't want it. Yeah, because they've got more common sense. They don't want to commit political suicide. The ones who want it aren't any good for it and don't want to do the work anyway. Exactly. You've got a similar problem, haven't you, with the, is it the Attorney General or the Chief of Staff? Chief of Staff, nobody wants that job, do they? Anyway, for those of you who are interested in other people's charts and stuff like that, look up Trump's chart. It's fascinating. It's obvious, but it's fascinating. And it'll make you go, oh, I see. Oh, right. I get it now. Very interesting stuff. Anyway, so let me have a look at my calendar a quick second. Sorry, I know we've not got any painting done yet, but I was going to work on my wolf, but my shoulder is bad because I worked on this for 8 hours this week. I've got to be careful of that. Also, I can't get this easel lined up with my camera properly yet. That's tomorrow's job. So I'll do that another time. Next week, the study guide is on Brigid, and the week after it's on IMULC. So as you come across things about IMULC to do with Brigid, keep a hold of them because it will be relevant for the week after. On the 31st, we're going to do our IMULC design ready for sewing on the 2nd. Next week, I'm going to do a pre-recorded video on how to make the Brigid cross, which you can do out of anything. You can make it, I'm going to just do one out of paper and show you how it works. But you can do all sorts of decorative things with it and, you know, whatever, go to town with it once I show you the basics, because Foxy's going to be here all day and it's my birthday weekend. We're going out for lunch. I'm not working basically. So I'm going to do a quick pre-recorded one that you still have a video and you'll still have something to work on. And then on Thursday, we're going to do this pseudo junk journal. I'm calling it a junk bullet journal, a junk bujo, or a bunk jujo, as I said earlier. That sweet little dog, it's Matisse. That cute little puppy. Yeah, I'm going to take this apart we're going to pamphlet stitch it back together. So we've done that before. I'll put the video in for you guys who haven't done it. And I'm just going to show you how to add a few extra pages to this. And if we've got time, we'll do one of these, because these are cool and I want one. They're very easy to make. Basically, they're collaged papers. It's like a Franken collage of whatever you want, that you make the right size with a tab or two on it, however you want it made. This has got a tab there. And then if you want to stitch on it, you can, or if you want to run it through your sewing machine, you can, or if you just want to put it through your sewing machine with no thread in, like this is, you know, there's not even any thread in that bit, it's just the holes, and it looks really cool. Or you can, you know, if you're not sure how to sew, you can stitch it on your sewing machine, do the zigzags so you get the holes, and then you can hand sew the holes, you know? So entirely up to you. We can do all sorts of play with that. And if you don't want to do stitching, you don't have to. You could glue bits of ribbon, or you could paint, you know, like I do painted collage. That would be cool, actually, to do some painting on this as well. And then you put them in your book and use them as a tab bookmark, you see. Obviously, this is too big, but that's the idea. That the tab sticks out, and it's kind of like a, they're called raggedies, and it's like a dashboard. So I thought that'd be kind of cool to do one of those and just get started on doing bits and pieces. This one is, I've been adding bits and pieces to it while it was still a bound book. So this is kind of a pseudo, just to show you the kind of thing that you could do. And then this one, we actually will take apart and redo it. And obviously I need that for February. So I'm going to do it this month, and then you can watch me do it. Yes? Good. We're going to take it a bit at a time. I'm trying not to get overexcited this year like I normally do. I usually, oh yeah, that's a great idea, and we get all gung-ho and boom, we make a bullet journal, a junk journal in one go, and bam, we've done it in 1 week. And then I'm like, hang on a minute, we could have taken like a couple of months to do that and taken time to do it properly. So then another time we'll learn how to do coffee papers, and another time we'll learn how to vintage up your papers with some Tim Holtz distress and stuff like that, if that's the look you want to go for. We'll do another one that's kind of modern or something like that, you know, just so it's a bit of variety for you all. I know a lot of people like the vintage look. I'm not overly into the vintage look. I like old paper, but I don't like this. I do like inking everything to death, but I like to ink everything in black because I think it looks cool, not inking everything in brown because, ooh, it looks vintage. Why not just use old papers in the first place? You know, that's how I look at it. So for this, I need a looking down face. So face, woman, looking down. Let's see what that gets us. Oh, pretty cool. That's pretty much exactly what I want, actually. She's pretty. We've got someone with slightly softer features. She's got slightly softer features. I like her mouth. Can you please stop whining? Oh, she's got a very Celtic look to her. Nina Masek for Trevelyan Images. Oh, it's a stock photo anyway, so I'm not worried about using it as a reference. Let's face Celtic. Let's see if we can get someone a little bit more Celtic looking. No. Okay, let's do redhead because internet. Here we go. This is more what I'm looking at. Oh, she's pretty. She's off to one side though, and I want it straight, looking straight down. She's too grumpy looking. She's not defined enough. She's smiling with teeth only. Oh, it's good love. I don't like that. She's got no lips or nose. Will you stop? I'm getting annoyed now. Stop it. No, I think we've got the one. I think we've got the one I want to use. She's pretty. I'm going to save her for another time. I like the way she's posed. Pictures. I'm going to use her, I think. I think that's just about the right kind of thing that I want. Sports teams. I don't know what sports teams is about. People reading. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I like this one. I'm going to use this one. I've done enough messing about. We're an hour in and I haven't done anything yet, but you know, it was a hangout session anyway. I'm going to use the middle of this book because I might take out a few pages from this one, so I can always reuse it somewhere. Let's see. I want to get an idea of what she's got a very defined brow. And normally when you do brows, eyes, nose, mouth, it'll come out like the eyes are halfway down and the nose is next and then the mouth is halfway between that. Because this is foreshortened, this part will be twice as big as this part. So actually this is going to get smaller as it goes down like this. And then her chin will be half as much again as it would normally be. So if I do her nose, just a very basic shape like that, with not much definition. But do her brow bone very defined. Like that. Something like that. Sorry, I'm struggling a bit because I've got easel creep. See if I can get it to stick against my keyboard. There we go, that's better. That nose isn't right. That should be there. So that should be coming down here. More like that. The nose needs to be a lot bigger. It's better. So if that's the bottom of her lip, then her top lip will be there. So she's got a very shallow top lip because of the perspective. Something like that. It's too wide on this side. I'm thinking something like that. Maybe even not that wide, maybe even more this sort of shape. Yeah, I like that better. Okay. So let's try and translate that onto our canvas. Oops, put that there. Okay, so her chin comes kind of there-ish. I've just got to sit straight so I can see what I'm doing. That's her chin. Should be quite pointed looking because she's looking down. So her mouth, I think, will be about there. And her nose will be about there. Which means her brow will be around there. So it's going to be something like that. Okay. I want to keep the face very simple. I don't want it to be too overwhelming. I want the focus here, not on her face. Too wide again. There we go. That works. Okay, let's get a small paintbrush and start carving her out. That's the smaller one, let's use that one. There, that, I'm going to use my own drawing as a reference now. Oh, my tongue still hurts. Hi, Chris. This is the Pilot Eno, by the way, that I said I was getting. I've got the blue one, but I ordered it with all the different coloured replacements because I thought, what's the point in having a whole set of them if you can get one and get all the colours? So I've got all the colours here. And I'll try other colours. So there's violet, rose pink, red, orange, green, and mint blue. And then in this one, it's got dark blue. It's a lot nicer than the Staedtler pencils. The lead is so much better. So I think what I'm going to do is use the mint blue and the red in, oh, I can't, it's different size. This is the 0.7, those are 0.5s. How annoying. I could have put the blue and the red in the other two and used whatever I wanted in this one, but never mind. Okay, does her hands and her face so it's a little bit of basic anatomy for you. Very roughly, an average person, not somebody who's got a big round face and squatty little hands like me, but on average, that bit of your hand there, the waist of your hand there, should be roughly equal to from your nose to the edge of your ear. So if you do that, see, should roughly be about the same width. So that's how you can tell. So you can't actually see the full width of her hands, but her hands, this is her thumb, is bent round here. So her inner bit of her hand is going to be about there. And then the edge of her hand is about there. It's going to be wider. It's going to look wider because when you do that with your hand, it gets wider, obviously. We all know about the squish when you bend, right? Happens to thighs too. So it's going to be a tiny bit wider. But very roughly, that width there should be equivalent to, very roughly, if you added an ear. So it's a tiny little bit wider. Her ear would probably be there. Okay. Her ear would be about there. And this is actually a tiny little bit wider. You can't see. A tiny little bit outside the ear. You see that? So that is approximately right. It's not going to look hideously deformed if we paint her that size. The face looks squashed compared to the hands lengthways, because remember the full length of your face from chin to actually in between your eyebrows to your chin should be your middle finger. And the full length of your face, if you hold your hand up in front of your face, should be from your chin to your hairline. Roughly, again, this is average. So her hands are going to look very big compared to her face because her face is bent down like that. So her face is shorter, foreshortening. See? My face is that tall, but when I bend down, it's that tall. Plus, it's going to look a little bit odd because her head goes off the edge of the page. But that's just something to bear in mind when you're painting something like this. Don't get stressed out about, oh, but it doesn't look right. It's not going to look right until you're finished. I see a lot of people doing basic stuff and then they're like, oh, no, erase, erase, erase. It doesn't look right. It's not going to look right the first time, okay? It's not going to look right the second time. You're probably going to have to paint it 3 times before it looks right. And even then you'll have to tweak it a bit. So I'm going to use some dark umber to carve out the edge of her face. Because her hair is going to sit over this. and across some of her face as well. And of course, anything under her chin is going to be in shadow anyway. So all of this area is going to be dark anyway. So I might as well get a good face shape in to work with. Getting the face shape the way you want it, or a way that it will work, is, whoops, half the battle towards getting your face, your features to look even, because if the face shape is right, you can draw the face however you want and it will look right. See, it looks better already. That paint is translucent. So what I'm going to do is put some Payne's grey with it, because it's still wet. I can mix it on the board. The Payne's grey is opaque, so that will help both darken it up and add shadow and cover that pale bit. Same on this side. Again, she's going to have Merida hair, so her hair is going to be all over the place. I don't need to worry too much about what these underlayers are going to be doing, but if you put the shadows in to start with, it's a lot easier to paint over them than to try and get them in between strands of hair later. This is going to be part of her, whatever she's wearing under her coat. So this is going to be quite dark down here. And also I want something for the ball to glow against. The darker the contrast behind, the better the glow will look. So that's nice and dark now. Doesn't have to be even on both sides. A bit more dark under here. And now we can do the hands. You're off, Ashley. Now, I have a picture of the hands because I very cleverly took a photograph of the hands. My tongue hurts. Did I mention that? That's the original collage of the hands, you see. So I thought it would be a good idea to take a photo of it just so I had a visual reference for how the hands look. So the thumb comes round this way, and then the first finger, her little finger is very tiny. The second finger, and they kind of curve that way. That, oh, that's that one, and then that feeds into there, okay. And then the same here, so we've got the thumb, again, foreshortened. Hands are hard, y'all. Let's try and keep her fingers roughly the same size. Her fingers touch in the middle there. And then that's her middle, no, that's her ring finger. The middle finger is quite a lot thicker. And then her first finger is kind of there. This goes all the way around, so that's her hand. And that straightens off there, so you can see the bend of her thumb. And then the thumb comes in and around that knuckle. And down and around that knuckle. Because the wavy bits of the knuckles, where your knuckles go in, or most people's knuckles go in, mine don't, where the knuckles go in lines up with the hole, the split between the fingers, and the knuckle lines up with the finger. It's very easy to forget that when you're drawing it, believe me. Hands are hard. Have I mentioned this? So then this thumb is coming this way. Woo! Okay. Thank you for that. And it's bending up round there. And then this comes down. And then it comes up and down and up and down and up and round. I'm not going for perfect realism on these hands. I just want them to look like hands, you know? So that is going, there's another bend there before it comes this way. And then this way, there's another bend there before it comes this way. Now her fingers are looking a wee bit man-like, so I'm going to slim them down a little bit and make them a little bit more pointy. Her knuckles are going to follow that line there, so okay, she's got her hands will come up it now. Let's not do that. She does have very square hands though. Let's give her pretty fingernails so that she, there we go, that looks a lot better. She doesn't have man hands now. Are you shoveling snow? Oh, isn't that what you've got kids for? Eight inches of snow and it's -28. Get the kids doing it. You don't have kids. Well, you need to find some. Adopt some nephews or something. Get them to do it. As soon as we get a decent amount of snow around here, the kids start coming around knocking on the doors. Do you want your driveway cleared? Yeah, how much is it going to cost me? Oh, it's £5. Okay then. Saves me doing it. That doesn't look right, that thumb. What's going on with that thumb? That thumb looks like a pudgy thumb. Some are pudgy. Okay, let's do it from the other thumb. So there's there. It comes round and then, I missed a corner out. There we go, that's better. And then her fingernail will be there. Yeah, I missed a corner, okay. That makes sense. This is all going to be in shadow. Let's make that slightly shaded Put a bit of a gap between those. It's shaded there, bit of shading there, shading there. How's that looking? Yeah, doesn't have to be too precise or too pretty looking or anything like that. I just want it to be in proportion, because I can always tidy it up later with a bit of pencil or a bit of pen or whatever. So what I'm going to do is paint it in. Oh, sorry, baby. I didn't mean to tread on you. I'm sorry. I didn't know your Tootsies was there. I'm sorry. I didn't know. Okay. I'm not going to make the mistake I did last time of starting at the bottom and working up and then getting it all messed up because I put my hand on it. I'm going to start at the top and work my way down. So I want to just do a very simple face. In the paint, so that I can then go in and okay, sisters are eyebrows are sisters, not twins. So yeah, if I do a very simple painted face, I can then go back in and well, that's a good start, isn't it? Yeah. Gotta tidy up again. Sorry, babe, I moved my chair. No, she can't balance on her cushion. Oh dear. Okay, let's try that again without the oops. What was I saying? Yeah, simple painted face, and then I can go in and add to it later if I want to. Or I can just leave it simple. It might end up that her face gets virtually covered by hair anyway, so. Sorry. I can't keep my board on the table. Problem of having big boobs, you see, every time I lean forward it hits the easel and pushes it forward. Oh, these things are sent to try, I say. This brush is very frayed. Another one that's got less fraying on it. Oh, there we go. My job for tomorrow is to sit and figure out how to configure my easels so that they are easy to sit at and I can get them on screen without having to keep moving cameras around, and I can reach them without my boobs getting in the way. So this could be quite an entertaining few hours tomorrow. Plus, it would be kind of useful for you if you had a sideways angle, so you could actually see what I'm doing when my hand's in the way like that. So anybody got any other questions about their astrological? Oh, well, yeah, astrology homework. Or anything else we're doing? Anyone got any suggestions for journal bits and pieces or sewing bits and pieces that you want to do? You can put them on the list. I'll take that as a no then, shall I? You're all very quiet today. What's wrong with you all? Have you all been shoveling snow? Okay. It's not quite right. This mouth is a little bit off on this side because the light was getting in the way. Refine it this side a little bit. Like that fuller lip. That's better. She's still a little bit pouty on this side, but that'll work. Tired. I think everybody's a bit tired today. It's that full moon. Full moons tend to drain people. And we've got that super blood moon, total eclipse wolf thing going on. I'm the opposite. Full moons energize me. I suddenly want to do all the things. Okay, let's carve out the outside of our hand first, so we know what we're working with. Again, keeping it rough and sketchy at this stage because I can always change it. I don't want to get too invested in what it looks like at this moment, but I'm just going to come in and paint white stuff all over the bits, and you probably won't see half of her hands anyway, because all of this is going to be fur and stuff, so I don't want to be. Okay, so that's her little finger there, ring finger, middle finger, hand, thumb, joint, knuckles, touching there, bit of shadow in there. Same on the other side, so carve out that little finger and the gap where they meet, ring finger, middle finger, hand, thumb, angle. Thumb. Knuckle. Quite well defined on that side. Knuckle, knuckle, bend of the finger. Blendy, blendy. Blendy, blendy. Obviously this is the shadow where it's going up her sleeve. Her sleeves are hanging down. All of this is going to have white coming over it. All of this, and this is the bits of her sleeve where you can see up her sleeve. Did you understand the horizon where you're confused about all of it? Okay. Have you put your chart up, Risha? Oh, so you've got your ascendant and where your first house starts and ends. Oh, well, you've done it then. I think maybe I just need to go over it with you just to prove that you do know what you're doing and keep you blinkered to everything else. I probably just need to pull you back from the brink. Don't worry about it. I have to do it with Burgess on a regular basis. Although she's getting better at doing it herself now. Okay, thumb, thumbnail, thumb, angles, bend, bend. That might be too many bends in that thumb, I'm not sure. I'll have to double check that. Fingernail. Sorry, you can't see what I'm doing, can you? Let's see if I can do it that way a bit. That better? Oh, there you go. Now you can see what I'm doing. Fingernail. Stays within the edge of the palm. Finger dark. Finger dark. Fingernail above the edge of the palm. Finger dark. There we go, that's better. Finger dark. Fingernail at an angle. Shadow dark. Finger dark. This is what I have to do to draw hands. So, what are you apologising for? The whole point of today was so that I could paint and you could all do what you wanted and we could chat about astrology at the same time. So, okay. Finger touching. Yeah, she's still got hands like a muppet, but I can refine them later. Ugly hands, ugly. Oh, now she's got claws. Flipping heck. No, that's done that too low there, so I'll have to add a bit of finger there. Fingernail, up and over, dark, dark. Of course, her fingers are going to look pudgy at the moment because we're looking at the full width of the finger. In actual fact, the width of the finger is here, and all of this is going to be shadow. So it's kind of an optical illusion at the moment, but also she does actually have hands like a Muppet. So. Moral of the story, don't be too harsh or judgmental on your own paintings until you're more completely done with them. But also, if it looks like a Muppet, it looks like a Muppet. You can't get away from that. And sometimes you just have to accept that and move on. Not let it bother you. Bend of the finger, bend of the finger. Oh, there is 3. I did do it right. Okay, this is a little bit too big here, so let's cut that down a little bit. Yeah, she's got man hands, but that's going to be in shadow. So is that. So is that. So is that. And so is that. And so is that. And that looks quite a bit better. So yeah, they'll be all right. Mom says it's because I'm a Libra and I'm constantly doubting myself. It's not doubt, it's second guessing. Oh, but yeah, is it? Oh, am I sure? Oh, I don't know. Maybe I should check it again. Once you're 100% sure, you're incredibly stubborn about it. Yeah. Flip-floppers. How are we looking? I think she looks all right, actually. The hands are a bit of a mess. They do look like Muppet hands, but we've got no curvature going on yet. There's going to be shadow down this way to make them look more ball-like, whereas at the moment they just look like pancakes. I like her face. I like her face a lot. Her face looks really good. Needs thinning out on this side of the lip here, but it's only a sketch for now. Yeah. I'm pleased I got that bit done. Okay. Let's go have a look at... Oh. Get away before I throw it all over the place. Whoops. Okay, I'll rescue that in a minute. Right, stop share. Ning. Well, they're both, that's why. Okay. 35 answers on that one, so I'm guessing that's the one with all the charts on it. Okay, so Risha's going to be near the bottom somewhere. Will you stop it, you two? Okay, so share. So here's Risha. Okay. So Risha, your ascendant is in what sign? Your ascendant is the beginning of your first house. Correct, it's in Virgo. So what planet rules your first house? I'm going to open the floor to that one because Risha's new. She wouldn't necessarily know that. What rules Virgo? Who rules Virgo? Anyone? We've got a Siamese kitty now. We've got a Siamese kitty saying hi. Hello, kitty. Who rules Virgo? Come on. Anyone? Mercury, there we go. It's also Venus. It's a dual planet. But Mercury is the one that most people go with. Okay, so your first house ends where? In which, let me rephrase. In what sign does your first house end? Libra, correct. So that tiny little segment between 23 degrees of Virgo through into Libra, past Jupiter, into Libra about 16 degrees, that tiny little section is your first house, okay? So the signs on the outside you've got, you understand that. Now stop looking at the signs and look at the next bit in. That not quite a rectangle bit. The portion of the circle between the signs and the big circle in the middle, which is the Earth. That represents the Earth. That segment, what planets do you have in that segment? So between 9 o'clock and about 8 o'clock. Jupiter, yeah. 32 degrees of Libra. It just made it into Libra. So that's it. You've done it. Your first house ruler is Mercury and Virgo. So things openly to the world you would come across as a little bit nitpicky, because Virgos tend to be a little bit nitpicky, a little bit perfectionist, a little bit overly critical, a little bit obsessed with money and having things just right. That tends to be how Virgo appears to other people, especially to Aquarians. Some people like Virgos, but I grew up with one, so. So your first house is ruled by that, but you also have Jupiter, not conjunct the ascendant, just in the first house. What does Jupiter do? What effect does Jupiter have on pretty much anything? Anyone? It exaggerates. Jupiter makes everything bigger. It magnifies it. Yes, well done. Now, your Jupiter is just in Libra. So if your time of birth is correct, then your Jupiter is actually out of sign, because your first house is ruled by Virgo and Jupiter is in Libra, which is actually, although a lot of it covers the first house, it actually rules the second house, because the second house line is in very squarely right slap bang in the middle of Libra. So your first house ascendant general personality to the outside world, a little bit of a perfectionist, takes on too much at once, tries to do all the things, wants everything done the way they like it. I think we can all see Risha in that, can't we? Remember, this is not how Risha is, this is how she appears to us. I certainly see the, oh my God, I must have everything lined up and underlined and perfectly coordinated. But at the same time, very good at following rules. Virgo never met a rule it didn't like. And your secondary traits, which is your first house is also has some traits of Libra. Normally, Libra's a bit wishy-washy. You know, they're a flip-flopper sign, half and half, like Gemini and Pisces. They're neither this or the other. However, with Jupiter in there, that is magnified. So that's where your sense of, oh, but this, oh, but that, oh, but this, oh, but that comes from. Your sun is actually in your second house in Libra as well. So that's going to have an effect on it. And we'll look at that when we come to the second house. But that Jupiter in there is magnifying that sense of, oh, but am I sure? So you got Virgo going, look, I've checked the numbers, then I double check them, then I triple check them, then I ran them past somebody else just to make sure I'd still got the right numbers. They're definitely right, but I'm not 100% sure, so I'll just go and check again. That's how you come across to the world at large, Risha. I've done it and I know it's right. I'm absolutely sure it's right, but I'm just going to check again just in case. You're a just in caser. But actually, what you did was right. Yeah, I hear that a lot. Yeah, that's you. There we go. We're not going to do the secondary charts. Is Barbara here? I don't think I saw Barbara. Cody, look at that. Cody has all her planets all in the same place, all together. We're just going to ignore that one for now. She's playing WoW anyway, so. Rachel, here's Rachel. Now, Rachel, I can show you what Rachel did with hers that made it all go slightly wrong. If you read the first time, well, let's read it correctly first, and then I'll show you where she went wrong so you can see how you don't do it. She actually, if you read it the way she read it, she was absolutely right, which is a bit of a shame because the premise was wrong, but she'd followed the right instructions. So Rachel's ascendant is where? What sign is Rachel's ascendant in? You can see it on the screen, right? I've just occurred to me to check that. Aquarius, correct, Lisa. It's actually at 29 degrees, 15 minutes of Aquarius. So it's as close as it could be to Pisces without actually being in Pisces. Now, I said to ignore anything that was above the line, but look at that Mars. Her Aquarius is at 29.15, so basically 29, and her Mars is at 27.28, so basically 28. That's pretty much on the ascendant. So although it is above the ascendant, that is so conjunct, we might as well use it as an example because it's so close. It's within 1 degree, which is very rare. Well, it's not rare, but it's you know, to be that close, we won't come across many of them. So she's got Mars on her ascendant, which does what? What does a planet on the ascendant do? Or what do you think it would do? Anyone? No? A planet on the ascendant adds its traits to the ascendant. So my Jupiter on my ascendant exaggerates everything. And it exaggerates everything multiplied by exaggeration because it's rulership in Scorpio. Mars doesn't really like being in Aquarius that much, but Aquarius is famously erratic. And Mars is all to do with is it masculine or feminine? Masculine. Thank you, Mika. Masculine energy. God of War. Roar. Man symbol. Note the penis. Well, it's actually supposed to be a shield and a sword, but we all know what swords stand for. So, Mars. How you fight for stuff. How you take up arms, or how you appear to take up arms in the fight for whatever your first house is. Well, her first house is Aquarius, even though her first house has all of Pisces and most of Aries and only 1 degree of Aquarius. Her ascendant with Mars is in Aquarius. So that's primarily how she's going to come across to people. And Aquarius is very much the sign of fighting for the underdog. We're environmentalists. We care about animals. Humans, not so much. Humanity, but not people. We will stand up for what we believe is right. Have you seen those little cartoons? I've said this to Rachel before, so I'm not being rude to her. I've known her for a long time. You know those cartoons where you've got like the big dog and the little dog's like, and the big dog's just like got its paw on its forehead, holding it at arm's length. And the little one's going, the big one's just like, okay, whatever. Rachel's the little one. Honestly, she's 4'0" and woe betide anybody who crosses her. She's an ankle biter. She will have you. It's one of the things I love about her is that she looks like this tiny sparrow-like little, I'm very quiet, and she talks very airy-fairy, and she's quite quiet, and then you say the wrong thing to her, and she's like, excuse me, bitch. What was that you said? Especially if you say something about somebody she cares about, or something she cares about. If you say something about her, she'll go, well, because, Aquarians don't care. We don't care what other people think. We are who we are. We don't care what other people think of us. So, you know, you insult her, she'll go, well, you know, can't all be perfect. You insult somebody she cares about and be prepared to duck because she'll have you. Trust me. That's that Mars on the ascendant. And yet at the same time, her secondary trait is being very woo-woo, hippy-dippy, off with the fairies. She does come across like that a lot of the time, which is the Pisces bit, all of Pisces in the first house. And she's interested in that kind of stuff. And at the same time, what else has she got in the first house? The moon, yeah, in Aries. There's Aries again, more Aries influence in the first house, this time emphasizing emotions. She is a little hot-tempered. Mika's been doing her homework. She was doing it earlier while I was doing my book flip. She can be a little bit hot-tempered, especially if you rile her up and start, you know, don't start telling her that, oh, you know, I would love to see the day or be a fly on the wall the day somebody says fighting for animal rights is completely pointless. I'd be like, oh my God. I'd get the camera out because it would just be boom. And all that passion would come out because that's what she cares about. That's how she loves. That's how she shows that she loves you. If she's willing to stand up and fight for you. That's where it comes out. Now, what she actually did was read it the opposite way round. That second line, which is the end of the first house in Aries, she read it from there and said, okay, Aries rules my first house and the moon is in there and the ascendant is in Pisces. To be fair, she was looking at it on a phone. She wasn't looking at it on a big screen. When I showed her a blown up version of the image, she went, oh, actually it's in Aquarius. But she was still trying to read it from the bottom up clockwise, which is, quote, normal, instead of reading it from the 9 o'clock ascendant down anti-clockwise. Remember, we're looking at the sky from the earth, not the earth from the sun. We're not looking at the solar system. We're looking, ooh, who's managed to draw on my screen? Can I draw on my screen? Whoa! I can draw on my screen. Who else is drawing on my screen? Stop touching the screen. I had no idea I could do that. Okay, so here's her ascendant. 29, 25 of Aquarius. Here's her Mars. 27, 28 of Aquarius, which is basically conjunct. Well, it is conjunct. It's basically sitting right on top of it. It's 17 minutes difference, isn't it? Is that right? Somebody do the maths for me. 29:15 minus 27:28 plus 2 would be 28. Oh, 1:15, 30:15, 40 something. Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. I've confused myself now. So all of this section here is her first house. Here's her moon sitting in Aries. And Rachel started reading it from here. And also, she wasn't just reading it from here. She took this as the first line, and then she started reading this bit, and she thought this was the lines. And it's not. It's definitely this area that you need to be looking at. Okay? Now, she's also got other interesting things going on because she's got a lot of Mars squaring Virgo, squaring Scorpio, sorry. And she's also got the moon opposite Uranus. So that'll be something interesting to look at later as well. She's also got a kite for those who've done grand designs. There's her kite. And she's got an opposition. She's got two oppositions, but no grand cross. It's not square enough to be a cross. Okay. Oh, I'm liking this. I can't believe I can annotate stuff. This is awesome. Okay. Now, those of you who have who aren't sure about what your signs are yet, or when you were born or stuff like that, I've got a way of figuring it out. Let me see if I can make that bigger. Is that bigger for you? Okay. So Chris is here, isn't she? Where's Chris's ascendant? Let me see if I can zoom in. Aha. There we go. Chris's ascendant is in Virgo as well. Yeah, same as Risha. So there. Now, she's got Pluto above the line, but it's at 20. That's too far away to worry about. Or is it? 5, 10, 15, 21. Yeah, we'll ignore that for now because Pluto is actually to do with the 12th house anyway, so it belongs up there. So she's at 21 degrees of Virgo for her ascendant. So who rules her first house? How did I do that? Hang on. Ooh, I didn't know I could do that either. So who rules her first house? Who rules Virgo? Mercury, right? So same as Risha, basically. Comes across as a little bit perfectionist. If you want a job done right, she's the person to ask. If you want it double checked, she's the person to ask. If you need a third opinion, she's the person to ask. And then we've also got this. What's this one? Oh, hang on. Oh, no, hang on. That's not what I wanted. Here it is. No. Where's my pen gone? I can't, for some reason it won't let me draw on it now. I don't know if you can see the pointer. Uranus, correct. Uranus to do with, oh, for heaven's sake. Sorry, I'm not used to, I'm gonna have to play with this. I didn't know I could do this until 5 minutes ago. So I've got to be careful about what I press on. Uranus to do with, come on, we talked about Uranus earlier. Don't be afraid to shout out. Anybody? Oh, Andrea's not here. That's why she's not answering. Modernity, technology, science, mechanics. Basically, the Industrial Revolution and beyond is Uranus. As evidenced by the fact that Uranus was a late planet. The original ruler of Aquarius was Saturn, because they went round all the planets and then they started going round again, which is why some planets like Saturn and Mercury cover more than one sign. And then when they found a new one, they go to one that doesn't have a ruler. Well, Aries already had a ruler. Aries got Mars. Aquarius was a secondary one. It had Saturn. So Uranus ended up with Aquarius. Because of course it did. Because who else is going to find a new planet in the sky using the new technology of telescopes? So she's got Uranus at 24 degrees of Virgo, and her ascendant is just past 21. I'd say 21 and a half. So do you think we could call that conjunct? We can call it conjunct. It's very close, yeah. Within 3 degrees, definitely. Within 5 degrees, sometimes it depends. If it was 5 degrees like Anerisha's is, and it was out of sign, remember one was in one and one was in something else. If it's out of sign and it's 5 degrees, you'd go, no, that's not close enough, because the out of sign pushes it back. If it was 3 degrees and it's out of sign, you'd go, no, that would be pulling forward. So it's kind of like rounding up and down in maths. 3 degrees in the same sign is definitely close enough to call it conjunct. So Chris would come across as somebody who likes technology, somebody who's confident with technology, somebody who is good at pulling apart things and working out how they work, because Virgo loves doing that. And that Uranian influence of Aquarius would be the one who says, okay, let's take this apart to see how it works. And then Aquarius will go, okay, now let's put it back together and see if we can fix it. So Chris is very much one of those technologically able. If she doesn't know how to do it, she'll figure it out. If somebody else doesn't know how to figure it, she'll be like, oh, give it to me, I'll figure it out. I don't have my YouTube open all of a sudden. Where did YouTube go? Oh, because I'm on the screen. I can't see YouTube chat. So Chris, if you're answering us, I can't see you. Hang on, let's just pop into the YouTube bit. She's here, yes. I can't see you because I was looking at that bit of the screen. Does that sound like you, Chris? Do you think? Well, I know, let's pull this out. And then I can move that across and I can see chat now. Yeah, that's me with my Uranus going, oh, if I can't do it, I'll figure it out. Does that sound like you, Chris? Quite perfectionist, quite capable, quite confident, more than capable of learning how things go, like technology. You're not going to make hard work out of something if there's an easier way of doing it. That's me, that is. That's why I don't cook. That's not true. I do cook. I cook very well. You do like pulling things apart to see how they work, yeah. Do you like putting them back together to see if you can get them to work again? Because that would be the Aquarian influence. Mercury Virgo likes to pull things apart to see how they work so that they fully understand things. And Aquarius likes to fix things and say, look, I've MacGyvered it back together. You know, it might look like a steampunk spaceship by the time you've put your keyboard back together, but it'll work. But your Virgo wouldn't be happy about it. She'd go, well, it doesn't look right. They don't usually. Well, you're not entirely Aquarius. You're not completely Aquarius. So that's it. Her secondary one is Virgo, is Libra, and again, quite a big chunk. So again, that's slight second guessing. Oh, but if I pull this apart, am I going to be able to do it? Well, it doesn't work anyway, so it doesn't matter. So there would be a slight logic behind it of, well, it's got to be fixed anyway. It doesn't work anyway, so I'm going to have to replace it. So I might as well see if I can fix it, which is the kind of logic that I do. Cooking, we don't cook. That's what microwaves are for. Slow cookers. Slow cookers blow my mind. We spent all this modern technology, state-of-the-art, NASA approved stuff to be able to microwave our food in 3 seconds just for somebody to come along and invent a slow cooker that takes the whole bloody day. I'm like, what's the point in that? And everyone's like, well, you know, you can put your food on all day and when you get home it's done. I'm like, I can walk in the home, throw my food in the microwave on the way past. By the time I've let the dogs out and been to the loo, come back with food's ready. Why? See, there's logic in my madness. So yeah, that's a nice simple one. Rachel, we've done. What else have we got here? I thought I saw Ina's somewhere. Sue's uploaded hers. Hers is at the end again now. So Scooby. You can't do slow cooking. When you want to eat, you want to eat. Exactly. This is what microwaves are for. I don't want to put my food on at 6 o'clock in the morning before I go to work so that I can come back 11 hours later and go, I don't fancy that now. I want fish and chips. You know, I'll have changed my mind by then. Anyway, so Scooby, my little man, ascendant in Cancer, with most of his first house taken up by Leo and Mars in Leo. Not afraid to tell us how he's feeling, our little Scooby. He wears his heart on his sleeve, very emotional, and honestly, if you could see his little face, his face goes through so many expressions in a matter of seconds because you can see exactly what he's thinking. Whereas Maddie's a Leo. Maddie doesn't have anything else in the first house because, frankly, with Leo in the first house, she doesn't need anything. It's all about her and it's going to stay all about her. I have a question about the study guide in house 1. It asks, my Aries is in, but I don't get what that means. Oh, it should say house. But ignore that bit. Ignore that bit. Ignore it. Doesn't matter. Ignore it. Belay that. Belay that. There's mine, see? Sagittarius, and right on the ascendant, Jupiter, blowing everything out of proportion. And then I've got Cancer in my first house, Capricorn in my first house, totally ruling how I work and how I come across in my work. And incidentally, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, which is in my creative house. What's my work? Creative. Just saying. Then I've also got my Mercury and my North Node. This is the North Node, this one. This one here. We haven't done that yet. We will come to that. But I've got my Mercury in here and that's part of my Grand Cross. When I was talking about Grand Crosses and things earlier, here's a Grand Cross. So I've got Mercury. Oh, why is that doing that? Draw. There we go. Text, format. No, draw, format. Clear. Clear. Clear everything. Draw. Oh. Draw. There we go. Mercury in Capricorn, opposite. Moon in Cancer, because it's full moon. Crossed with, here's the cross, Uranus and Mars. I've also got a grand trine. Mercury to Saturn to Pluto. Scooby! Enough! Sorry about that. He's been a brat. So a cross is a square, basically. It's the square. This is square this, and square this, and square this, and square this. Squares are difficulties. Things that you find difficult to work with. So my grand cross is my Mercury in Capricorn is very... They're very careful about what they say and how they say it, which is completely at odds with my Jupiter in Sag, Sun in Aquarius, which is, I think I say it. But as far as emotions and expressing emotions, opposite the moon in Cancer, who likes to hide emotions, I'm not overly expressive about how I feel. I'm not one of those people who spends lots of time telling all their followers how much they love and adore them on my YouTube channel or anything like that. I don't see the point, because I don't actually love all my followers. I like most of my followers. I think they're great and I think it's awesome that they follow me, but I'm not in love with them. You know, that's a whole different ball game. So I have to juggle this very serious Mercury communication side against this very sensitive Cancer caring moon that likes to hide its emotions. And against that, we've also got Uranus in Libra, who likes to be very open and honest and weigh the consequences of technology and science. And you know that Jeff Goldblum line? You were so busy thinking if you could have, you never thought if you should. Yeah, that's Uranus in Libra. And then I've got Mars in rulership in Aries pulling against that, where I think it, I say it. I think it, I do it. Oh, why don't we do this? Off we go. I'm trying to keep that under wraps this year. Doing quite well so far, but hey, why don't we do this? So that's a difficult relationship. Oh, here we go. I want to go and do this. Oh yeah, but is it right? Is it the right thing to do? Is it humanitarian? Does it benefit the cause? Does it harm anybody else? Is it the right thing to do for the environment, etc.? And the rest of me is gung-ho and like, yeah, let's go, I'll drive. And then trines. So this is my trine here. Trines are easy relationships. They sound easy, don't they? Squares butting up against each other. Trines, sliding. Slidey, slidey. You know, so my Mercury in Capricorn, straightforward communication and work in learning and communication, facilitated by Pluto in Libra. Now, Pluto is all about change. Libra is all about balance. So I think that pretty much explains how it is that I'm able to flip from one thing to the next and my brain can keep up, because it's in Virgo. It's in Libra. So it's like, yeah, of course I can keep up, because my brain's already covering all the possibilities, because I'm an Aquarian. So I've already got all the answers lined up in my brain. I just have to pick a path. And this makes it incredibly easy to do that. That Pluto in Libra is easy to change. Mercury in Capricorn is careful about how it says things and what it says. And then helping that along, we've got Saturn, who rules Capricorn. So that's facilitating. In an earth sign, practical. In the 5th house, which is creativity, I'm just throwing it in there because it's relevant. So Saturn in the 5th house, working at being creative, facilitated by a careful ability, a careful approach to teaching and learning and communicating, and the ability to change and judge things very quickly, facilitated by a solid background in hard work and creativity and performance, because the 5th house is Leo. So the 5th house is all about being the entertainer, being the one on stage, being the one on out the front, putting on the show. People can say many things about the way my classes are. Not many people can say that they're boring. Whereas I've done classes with some people where I was like, I literally have fallen asleep in some classes. They were so dull. I think we've all been there. You don't get a chance to switch off in my classes. If you can switch off in one of my classes, you must be wearing headphones, because I'm constantly boom, 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 boom all the time, throwing things at you. It can be quite a workout. So that makes it easy to do that. And then I've also got a kite. So remember I said Rachel had a kite. This particular version doesn't show the kite, but I do have a kite there, which brings in Chiron in Mars, in Aries. We'll ignore that for now. We haven't done Chiron. So that's a quick look at the grand designs that we were talking about. So I've got all the grand designs, all of it. I'm working with all of it, but it's okay because I'm an Aquarian. We can do things like that. Anybody else here? Let's check the first page. Oh, no, pointer. Ah, there we go. I'm getting it. I'm getting it. There we go. Mika. We haven't done you, Mika, have we? No, we haven't. So where's Mika's first? Ooh, busy. Where's Mika's? What sign is her ascendant in? Scorpio, correct. 25, 6, 7 degrees of Scorpio, which puts that Jupiter 4 degrees away, but it's out of sign. If that was any other planet, I would say don't count that as conjunct because it's out of sign and it's more than 3 degrees. But it's Jupiter, and Jupiter expands, and Jupiter will want to be involved. So you can count that Jupiter as conjunct your ascendant, even though it's out of sign. Especially because what's special about Jupiter here? It's in Sagittarius, exactly. So it's in rulership. So it's exponentially exponential. So it's going to take even more room. So if, let's put it in pictures, okay? If an outer planet, which is the ones from the Earth outwards towards Pluto, an outer planet, 3 degrees, oh, it doesn't quite hit the ascendant, but it's Pluto. It's Jupiter, so yeah, it would hit the ascendant, and it's Jupiter in Sagittarius, so it would definitely hit the ascendant. You see what I'm saying? And then, you know, because it's on the ascendant, then it's going to rule the entire first house as well, you know. So who's in charge? She's actually got 3 rulers because she's got Aries. Oh, not all of Aries, most of Aries. So 2 rulers. She's got 2 rulers of her first house, which are anyone? Who rules Scorpio? Oh, God, your hard work today. Pluto. Thank you, Lisa. And Jupiter, because the minute Jupiter's in anything in its own sign, it rules everything. So she's got Pluto and Jupiter. So what we've got there is someone who on the outside can appear quite emotional, quite withdrawn, a little bit snarky, because Scorpio, sting in the tail. Very good at backhanded compliments, Scorpio. Oh, I do look like that dress on you. It looks so much better than that orange one you wore the other day. It's not like they mean it that way. It's just how it comes out. Then we've got Jupiter in Sagittarius, quite pushy. So what you've got there is a very strong personality. Mika's not the kind of person who will sit in a corner unless she's got something to do. She might sit in the corner and people watch. She might sit in the corner and study. But you won't fail to notice her. I can be in a room and people notice me walk in because Jupiter, I'm like, hi, I'm here, even when I sneak in quietly. We can't help it. She's got the same thing. Her very presence is noticed. But she's also got that Scorpio ability to conceal. So everybody will know she's there. Everybody, at a party, everybody would go, have you seen Mika? Yeah, she's here somewhere. That would be the answer. She's here somewhere. I saw her earlier. I saw her come in. I saw her arrive. She's definitely here somewhere. But where would be anybody's guess, because she could be hiding on the landing watching people. She could be in the library reading some books because she found something interesting, But the answer will be, yeah, I saw her somewhere. Then she's also got another one with Uranus. And also, what's that one? Neptune, yes. So Neptune rules Pisces, spirituality, an interest in spirituality, a goal, because that's Sagittarius, a wanting to know about higher self, wanting to improve, wanting to know oneself, wanting to find out about life, the universe, and everything. Because again, Jupiter, everything. Sagittarius wants to know everything. And Uranus in Sagittarius, moving forward. Probably not somebody who shies away from technology. Not the kind of person like a Uranus Aquarian who will be more must have the latest toy. But I bet if she has to upgrade her phone, she won't be worried about it. She won't be like, oh, but I don't know what to have. And oh, but will it be the same as the last one? Oh, I don't know. Will it be complicated? No, she's not going to be like that. She's going to be like, yeah, bring it on. What new features has this one got? And how many selfies can I take with it? Do you take a lot of selfies? No selfies? That's very unusual for somebody with Sag in the first house. Selfie mad, we are. We don't show them to anybody, but we take a lot of them. Always taking selfies, putting them in my journal. I've got so many pictures of myself and my dogs in my journal. Oh, you take pictures of your cat, right. Is your cat your familiar? You have a special connection to your cat and you kind of see your cat as an extension of yourself. You have no idea he is a bit weird. Well, there you go. We'll do something on familiars at some point because I want to do more animals and things. Everybody's asked for that. So, we'll look at familiars eventually. And perhaps you can figure out if your cat is your familiar. Okay, who else have we got here? He's very aggressive and then suddenly sweet. Oh, he's here, Scorpio, as well. Andrea, we've done Andrea's before. Andrea's got the Grand Cross and a grand cross there, and almost a trine, and almost a kite. She's got almost everything, but only almost, not quite. We've done Andrea's last year, so I'm not going to do Andrea's right now because she's not here. I'm going to go to Sue said she'd uploaded hers. So let's go have a quick look at Sue's, because she went to all the trouble of uploading it. Let's go have a quick look, and we haven't done it before, I don't think. Oh, Lisa's put hers up too. Oh, Lisa put hers up. Sorry, not Sue. Lisa put hers up. Shh. Okay. Ascendant in.
Ro, it's Susan. I put mine up too.
Oh, you did? I thought you said you did. Lisa must have put hers up after, and it's pushed yours onto the previous page. I'll find it in a second. Don't worry, we're not going to leave you out. I'm just leaving out ones we've done before for now. So, shush, shush. Give me a minute. Another 20 minutes, okay? And then it's snuggle time. Just another 20 minutes, all right? Just give me a minute, okay? So, ascendant in. Here's the ascendant. Where is it?
Sagittarius.
Correct. 28.5 degrees of Sagittarius. Nothing conjunct it. So it's just Sagittarius. So someone who is quite adventurous, aims for things, decides what she's going to do, goes and does it. Good at setting goals. Not so good at following them through, but quite good at setting goals. Well, Aries is good at setting goals. Sagittarius is good at setting goals and getting started with them. The follow through is a little bit shaky sometimes. They miss their mark sometimes. The arrows don't always land where they're supposed to. But opportunists. So they'll just go, oh, well, I didn't quite do that. You know that saying, aim for the moon and at least you'll land among the stars? Yeah, Sagittarius wrote that, I'm telling you, because that's such a Sagittarian attitude. Well, I'm going to aim for this, and if I miss, at least I've learned something. Likes travel, usually. Not just getting in the car and going somewhere, but travel. The kind of people who go to foreign countries on holiday. Unlike Aquarians who would rather stay at home. And her entire Capricorn in the first house. So that's her secondary trait there. Capricorn in the first house. Her sense of self will be all about duty and getting things done and working at things, and with that masculine Mars energy of, right, let's get on with this then. Is that one of your favourite sayings, Sue? Right, let's get this done then. Here's what we're going to do.
Ro, that's not my chart. I'm Sue.
Oh, I'm talking to Lisa.
This is Lisa.
Sorry. This is Lisa. Sorry, did I say Sue? I meant Lisa. It still applies. It's, but I'm just asking Lisa instead of, sorry, I get names confused. You know me. So Lisa, does that sound like you? This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. Right, let's get on with it then.
Yeah, and I don't like wafflers.
I don't like wafflers. Spoken like a true Capricorn. This is not a sign that procrastinates. The only time Capricorn procrastinates about anything is if they're not entirely sure that they have all the resources they need in order to finish the project. They like to have all their ducks in a row and all their planning done first. Once they've planned everything out and they know that everything's going to arrive on time, they're getting in there and they're getting started and they're getting it done. But Sagittarius would already have made sure that everything had been pre-ordered and was in stock or on the way. So Capricorn doesn't need to worry about that. Capricorn can just go with her Aries thing and go, right, let's get on with it then. Right, let's go. Let's backtrack. This is the second chart. So we're not going to do secondary charts right now. We've got a Sue to, we can just about squeeze you in, Sue. Look, if I can find you. Get your name right every time. Well, your name's unusual.
Ro, mine was after Lisa's. You might need to refresh since I just put mine up.
Oh, okay. Carol's posted her chart as well. Okay, we'll see if we can get, it depends how complex. If they're not complex, then we can whiz through them. No, there's only Lisa's. And I've refreshed, so. Where did you put it? Did you put it on the introduction?
On my phone, it's showing right after Lisa's. I see Lisa's and then I see mine.
Okay, let me refresh again. Don't worry, if it doesn't come up, we'll do yours next time. We'll make sure we do Carol and Susan next time. Oh,
maybe I'm doing something wrong.
Now we've got Mara as well now. Mara's is after Lisa's. Mara's wasn't there just now. And now Mara's is after Lisa's. What the heck? Hecky, heck.
Okay, I pushed another button. Now mine's after Mara's.
Okay. There's Cody. Barbara's not here. Risha. Oh, there's Carol. Carol's has come up now. Cody again for James. I can't see yours anywhere, Sue. It's Lisa's. Lisa's son and Mara. Oh, there's you. Finally, we found you. Okay, we'll do you next, Mara. But I'm not doing any more after this because then we've been 3 hours and we've just about got time. Mara's is easy, so we've got time to do it. But I'm not doing any more after Mara's. So Carol will do yours next time. The very first one, we'll whiz through yours. Okay, so Sue, we are definitely Sue this time, aren't we?
Yeah.
Ascendant in
Cancer.
Cancer, correct. And you've got a very strong opposition there. Is it on your ascendant? Let's see. 5, 10, 11, 12, 13 and a half to 15. It's 1.5 for a personal planet for the moon. Yes, that's close enough. So this is conjunct. Oops. Oh, that's better.
Yes.
So your moon is on your Cancer ascendant. What does that mean? Who rules Cancer?
The moon does.
The moon does. So the moon is in rulership. So you've got your moon in Cancer on your ascendant. And within 3 degrees, you've got another personal planet at 17 degrees. It's showing down here, but the red mark is there. So those 3 are conjunct. So not only do you have moon in Cancer on your ascendant, you've got Mars on your ascendant. Boy, I bet you're fun. You're my worst nightmare. My Aquarius is not emotional. We're very distant. We're very thoughtful about how we say things. Plus, I've got that Mercury Capricorn opposite my moon in Cancer in rulership, wanting to be very withdrawn and quiet and staying away from things. And you're all heart on your sleeve. This is what I think. This is what I feel. Telling people I love you immediately. If you love someone, you'll tell them. If you don't like someone, you'll tell them. If you're pissed off with someone, you'll tell them. They'll know. You can't hide your emotions when you've got Mars and the moon in Cancer on your ascendant. You would like to hide them, But to the outside world, you are an emotional person who says how you feel. Sound familiar, Sue?
Partially.
Remember, this is not how you see yourself. This is how other people see you.
I don't know. Because I guess I'm a teacher, some of that I've learned to hide better, because you don't want that to come across to students.
Yeah, because look at this opposition. 2, Saturn in rulership in Capricorn. Because how you relate to other people, in work especially, is very dutiful and careful and thoughtful, and you speak from authority. So in your work and how you relate to other people, you are extremely careful, and you've learned to hold things back and be serious. But with your family, I bet you're a hugger.
Yes.
I bet you see an old friend in the supermarket. Oh, hugs everywhere. How are you? I haven't seen you for ages. Oh, it's so nice to see you. You'd be my worst nightmare. I'd be like, oh my God, no. I'd be hiding around the back of the fridges. That sound about right, Sue? And then on top of that, she's got a secondary part. Although it's only a small part, she's actually got a small first house. So the small part is not really a small part because, hello, it's Leo. So not only is she good at expressing her feelings and showing her feelings and having her heart on her sleeve and letting those people that she loves know that she loves them and letting those people that she's annoyed with know that she's annoyed with them. You know, you're never going to get the silent treatment from Sue. Yeah, if you've done something wrong, you're going to know about it. And if you haven't done something wrong, it's all hugs and snowdrops. And with Leo as the secondary one, romantic, expressive, creative gestures. Sue is the kind of person who, when her son's teacher has done a great job for the year, she'd make them an entire scrapbook album filled with all the kids from the class and get everybody to write a letter, and she put it all together and make it to give to the teacher at the end of the year. I bet you. Because that's the kind of thing that Leo does. Remember, Leo likes to be seen to be doing what it should be doing. So Leo would butt in there and be demonstrative with those showing the signs of affection, hence the hugging. Cancers are not natural huggers, but Mars, Aries, straight in there. They don't think about it. They're straight in there. Leo, straight in there. Fire signs are all huggers. How are we doing so far, Sue? We nailed you. But with a huge sense of propriety, a huge sense of what is correct, what is appropriate over on this other side. So that's quite a good balance, actually. It's an opposition, but oppositions are not pulling in two separate ways. They're finding a balance. So finding a balance between, oh, that's not quite close enough. I was going to say she's got Jupiter in there as well, but it's not close enough. Saturn in rulership in Capricorn on her descendant, saying this is how I need to relate to people. I need to be responsible. I need to be sensible. You know, it's not appropriate to hug children at school unless they're upset and all that kind of stuff. Not appropriate to hug their parents unless they're an old friend or something, but then it would depend on the situation. If it was at a school fete and you see an old friend who happens to be one of the parents, she'd probably get a hug. You know, very good at judging that balance of what is appropriate and what is okay to express.
I think that does get me better, yes, because I'm not a big hugger unless I really know you.
Yeah, but this would be personal. Cancer is always personal. This is personal relationships, people that you know. But then how you relate to others is how you relate to other people in general, not just people that you know. So you would be more cautious and more aware of what's appropriate for, say, a work situation or a non-personal situation, you see? So Mara's ascendant is in sound. Aquarius, correct.
Aquarius.
You also have your north node in there, but again, we'll worry about that again another time. The whole of Pisces in your first house, and also a bit of Aries, but Aries doesn't have anything in it, so it's not really worrying. You don't really need to think about it. Pisces does have your north node, so that'll be interesting when we do north nodes. So comes across as quite distant and quite, you know, likes to sit there quietly and watch what's going on. Bit of a people watcher. Likes to be part of the group, but not engaged in the group necessarily. You know, she's always here. You hardly ever hear her, but she's always here. She's always on camera. She likes her technology. She's damn good with technology. She's the one who can help everybody. But she doesn't get involved unless you're talking directly to her. And then all this big chunk of spirituality and service in Pisces in the first. Her sense of self comes from learning about herself, bettering herself, and serving others in order to do so. Probably a little bit of martyrdom in there as well. Probably does it to her own disadvantage, especially with that Aquarian ascendant. The kind of person who would put themselves at a disadvantage in order to stand up for what is right. Hi. I know I said 20 minutes. I've got another 6 to go, okay? There's another 6. You need to learn to count. How are we doing so far, Mara?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on, we've got 6 minutes. Let's squeeze Carol in. No, I said 20 minutes. No, I'm not overrunning again. Shush. Oh, mouse. Carol. Come on, number 4. There we go. Shush. Where did she go? Arisha. Carol, there we go. Oh. Go. Okay. See you next week, Lisa. 1 second. So here we've got another one. Ascendant in Sag, ruled by this is Carol. Sag, ruled by no, Gemini is a sign. Jupiter, correct. And what's in her first house? This is you, Carol. So ascendant in Sagittarius. So ruled by Jupiter. Shush. What's in the first house? Jupiter, right, which is not conjunct the ascendant, but it might as well be because, hello, Jupiter, first house in Sagittarius. You can count that as conjunct. It's not, but you might as well because Jupiter's in rulership. So you're going to have the same as me. You're not the kind of person who walks into a room and nobody notices. Even if you tried to enter quietly, people would notice. I have the same problem. I sneak into rooms at the back of meetings and everybody turns around to look at me. We've also got this other one. We've also got, what else have we got in rulership? This bit of the first house. Scooby! Secondary part of the first house. So secondary to her, I would imagine another one who's quite a character. We do tend to be hard to ignore. Not afraid to get up and be counted, not afraid to, pretty much any time anybody says, does anybody have anything to say? We're the ones who stand up and say something. Especially if we think nobody else is going to say something, because we don't want anybody to feel awkward. Good at setting goals and seeing them through, getting stuff done, or well, planning stuff anyway. But this Capricorn, good at getting stuff done, with with Saturn in rulership. It is Saturn, correct. So Saturn in rulership in Cancer. So we've got another one here who can set goals, big goals, high in the sky kind of goals, and then, God damn it, she's going to sit down and get on with it. So another one, here's what we're going to do. Grand designs, the kind of person who's not going to just redecorate, she's going to renovate the entire house. And it's going to be all things, everything, all the things. It's going to have all the things. It's going to be the best house ever. Bit of Trumpitis, you know? It's going to be the best house. We're going to have the best house. We're going to have the best architects. Everybody's going to work on this. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be the biggest house ever. It's going to be the best house ever. You're going to love it. Everybody's going to love it. And then, right, okay, let's get on with it. That's this one. And damn it, she will do it. Everybody will go, no, it's never going to happen. Oh, if Trump had Saturn in Capricorn, he might have actually got his wall built. He'd be down there with the bricklayers, putting the wall up himself if he had to get it done. Because Carol will be there with a digger and a hammer and learn bricklaying if she has to in order to get that house renovated. Yep, that's Carol. Carol says yes, that's her. Oh, is Carol your friend, Mika? You said you'd invited your friend to join us. Right, okay. Oh, that makes sense. That's why you're saying, yeah, she's like that. But again, this is how you appear to the world. It's not necessarily how you actually are. This is how you appear to others. So Mika's saying, yep, that's Carol. Yep. Grand designs, grand schemes, grand plans, huge outlandish goals like, hey, let's all go on a trip to the moon. And then she will sit and build the rocket herself if she has to get it done. Good person to have in your corner, Mika. Hang on to her. Right. Let's stop there before Scooby has another hissy fit at me. I hope that's been interesting today to go through some of that and do a bit of everything. We've done a bit of everything, haven't we? A bit of journaling, bit of this, bit of that, bit of woo, bit of way. Everybody who we've missed their chart, we've actually done them before. So, you know, we'll come to those kind of people like Cody and that. We'll maybe look at their second or third houses or whatever. But it's nice to get everybody who hasn't done the ascendant stuff sorted. And now you've done it. So now you understand how to look at it and how to read it. You can go off and look at others and say, okay, so what can I pull from this one? What can I pull from that one? And like I say, if you've already done that and you're feeling quite confident, go and pull Trump's chart, because that's really interesting. Boy, howdy. Let's just say it's got narcissist written all over it. Okay, all done. Thanks for joining me. See you again next week. Tuesday study guide will be Bridget for anybody who's done the astrology and wants to get a start on that. Next week, I'm also going to be doing taking apart my February book and doing a bit of junk journaling. So if you've got something simple like this, a little, hang on, let me share the screen. I'll put this in the notes, but just so you've got a visual. If you've got something simple like this little stapled book, it doesn't have to be this big. It can be like a passport size Midori or something, anything like that. Something that's quickly stapled together, that's ideal. If you don't have anything like that, grab a few pieces of printer paper or watercolor paper or whatever you've got hanging around. And then also find a few bits of scrapbook paper or interesting paper that you've got. So something like this. A couple of these, that'll do. Doesn't matter what's on it. Maybe if you've got some plain paper like this, but you've also got some paper that is lined or something like that, and you want to do a little bit of all sorts. So a few bits and pieces, and then we're going to take this. Yeah, ignore that. The bit about what does my Aries is in, yeah, ignore that. We'll do that another time. That was a bit too advanced. Your Aries is the first house, yes. So how you are to others, I am. How I appear to others, how I am in the world. But where your Aries covers is another house. But it occurred to me that we haven't done other houses, so you wouldn't be able to answer that. But the idea is that you look for your Aries and see what house it's in. So if you've got Aries in the first house, or Aries on your ascendant, you've got a double whammy, as I call it. But just ignore it. If you're not sure, just ignore it, because we'll get to it eventually. Yeah, so just grab some bits of paper and stuff like that. If you've got like an 8x8 scrapbooking pad with plainish paper or patterned on one side and plain on the other, that's ideal because you can fold that in half and make a Midori notebook out of it. So just something like that, just to play about with. If you're not really into making books, maybe do a little one, you know, something like that, do a mini book. And we're going to redo pamphlet stitch, but I will put the previous video up that I did on that so that I don't have to stop and show you in class how to do it. All right, see you next week. Have a good weekend.